Solar Cell Technology Implementation by Mo Robbins, Patrick Desmond, Mason Zimman, and Will Osborne. According to Chauncey Crail and Corrine Tynan, editors for Forbes, solar power has the potential to help us minimize our use of fossil fuels and the impacts we have on the environment. Now, what is solar energy? Solar energy is a renewable resource that has no harmful greenhouse emissions, unlike fossil fuels, and is emitted from the sun, making it an infinite resource. There are two main types of solar technology. The first main type is photovoltaic, which you can see here. It's the most common type of solar because it's just casual residential solar panels that absorb sunlight. The second type of solar energy technology is concentrating solar thermal systems, or CSP systems, as you can see here. CSP systems are composed of a lot of mirrors that reflect and concentrate light onto one main solar energy collector. And this solar energy collector converts energy to heat. Now, what was our identified problem? We identified that solar energy is not widespread enough in the United States. As said by Joel Bakken, a master of economic law from the University of Harvard, the U.S. solar industry has the resources to become the primary source of energy. However, our supply is lacking. What he means by that is that because solar energy is emitted from the sun, it's an infinite resource. However, in the U.S., we have enough money to produce solar cell technology and to mass produce it. The problem is, it's just not happening. Now, is solar energy really the best choice? There are lots of other renewable energy sources like hydropower, wind power, and bioenergy. Well, as said by the World Economic Forum, wind power takes up far more space to be most effective, and as a result, most wind turbines are used on a commercial or industrial scale rather than residential. Wind turbines also require certain environments, specifically higher altitudes. Although, as you can see in this diagram, that solar energy might be most effective in these red parts where the most sun is available, and we have the most hours of sunlight here, and that's why you see lots of solar panels. However, all across the nation, there's still sunlight, and it's still possible to have solar energy and solar panels located, while things like wind turbines can only be located in these higher elevated regions, like in California, which is why solar energy is the most efficient and usable source of renewable energy.
Solution 1, incentives. One way people can be incentivized to switch to solar energy is to increase non-solar energy rates and decrease rates for those with solar panels. This way, energy companies are not losing revenue, and it helps the environment and willing participants' electricity rates. This also forces customers to make their own choice and be happy with it, rather than forcing one universal energy plan down their throats. Another possible incentive is tax benefits for those who have switched to solar energy. 9 states offer some kind of tax breaks for those who have said yes to making the switch. One way the government could put this plan into place is raising tax cuts for those with generic energy sources while cutting them for those with solar.
Government subsidies. What are subsidies? According to Benedict Clements and Ian Perry, experts in environmental policy, define subsidies as fiscal tools government use to encourage economic development, help disadvantaged groups, or advance other national objectives. An example of common subsidies include the government offering services, such as a university education or a subway ride at below cost. This quote goes to prove that subsidies are a great way to ultimately reduce the price of a product, or in this case, service. An article by the Institute for Energy Research found that First Solar, an Arizona-based solar panel company, expects to receive as much as $710 million this year, nearly 90% of its expected operating profit from federal subsidies. This quote is basically saying that we are implementing solar subsidies today that encourage an increase in energy production, resulting in a deflating solar panel cost for the consumer. According to the Department of Energy, the Inflation Reduction Act was the single largest investment in climate and energy in American history. This truly goes to show the development we are making into a clean energy world with subsidies. This image shows the predicted amount of money invested into solar panels until 2060. In total, subsidies could add up to $900 billion.
Limitations and implications. What are the limitations of government subsidies? Students from the University of Palermo included that farmers from Greece had suddenly created a dependency on government subsidies. The students said, farmers necessitate a high dependence on EV common agricultural policy subsidies. They concluded that EV policy has created a sector dependent on subsidies. Next, decreasing the solar tax creates many limitations. Students from the School of Studies in Energy Policy at Xiamen University found that decrease of tax leads to an decrease in a government's revenue. Furthermore, this decrease in tax leads to an increase in other payments or taxes in other areas to balance decreased revenue. This means that decreasing solar tax will lead to increasing taxes in other areas. The best solution is providing incentives to expand solar. A professor from Georgetown University found that reduced tax can help a wider swath of the target population take advantage of solar as a benefit. He also found that solar tax credit allows smaller businesses wider access to solar. This tax credit and incentive to expand solar has also created a rising demand for this energy, which in turn has created advancements in solar cell efficiencies. Offering a solution in the expansion of solar, this quote explains that decreasing solar tax leads to enhancement of cell equipment. From this, it is clear that providing reasons to expand solar is the best solution to solve solar expansion. Thank you.